Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Pigskin Project YouTube channel. I am Matt Hartman, and today me and Ben talk everything from NFL Sunday Week 6. This is a meaty one. We talk for a long time, probably a little too long, so I want to get you right into the video. But if you like this content, you like preview content for the NFL week, Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central is where we do all of this stuff. So if you come back and you are enjoying, make sure to like and subscribe. Be much appreciated. Let's get you into the video. As you heard in the intro, I am joined by my co-host Ben Hansen, and we are talking everything you need to know from Week 6 Sunday. Ben, I want to start this off pretty simple and to the point. We are a third of the way through the NFL season, and it feels like to me we have a ton of good in the NFL, but no great. And if you were given the option, you were given that, like, who do you think is the best team in football so far?
I don't think it's as clear cut as it's been in past years. Like in past
Mhm.
years, it's clearly this team. Um, I do think it's the Bills, and I don't think there's a whole lot of competition for that coming off the backs of me saying it's not as clear cut. I mean, the other teams that you could argue were the Lions. Well, they just lost tonight. You could have said the Eagles. Well, they're kind of spiraling downhill as well. So you have, again, as you said, it's just a lot of these good teams, but not great teams. And like, honestly, the two other teams that come into mind for me are the Bucks and the Seahawks. Both two teams that are great, good teams, but if you would have had this conversation 6 weeks ago, and we would have said, well, it's the Bills, the Bucks, and the Seahawks, I would have said, well, woof, there's not a lot of great in the season, and that's what it is so far. But I mean, who are the teams for you?
I just want to lead this off and say um, we have two 5-win teams through, like, that's it, and there's no opportunity to have more, or the Bills, I should say. So we have an opportunity to have three 5-win teams at 5-1. The 2 through 7 in the AFC currently have 4 wins. So you just think about how logjam the playoff bracket is there. And then you go to the NFC and it's no different. 3 through 7 have 4 wins. The Commanders could join that group tomorrow night. And the Packers are second in the conference because they got the tie, baby. They're 3-1-1. All right. Everybody always says the tie might as well be a loss. Yeah, tell the to the Green Bay Packers, who are second in the conference right now. But jokes aside, the team I keep coming back to that I think is the best in the NFL, watching them week to week, is the Colts. And the only reason I don't think anybody's going to get there, and why I'm not going to get there fully, right now at least, is because Daniel Jones is the quarterback. Like, obviously. It's just like we're due for a game in which Daniel Jones kind of catapults himself. But I think this is the best way to lead this off is to kind of talk about the contenders, because you said it right. There are like 6, 7, 8, 9 teams that you could argue that are in this range of being the best team in football. Uh, I'm going to start with the Sunday night football game because I think the Lions had the best opportunity of the week to
Mm-hmm.
really take this mantle and didn't. And listen, this is the same story as last year. What is it? I'm looking here. It was 5 defensive backs were hurt going into this game, and you think about like Terry and Arnold, DJ Reed are their starting outside corners. They're both on IR. Ennis Rakestraw got hurt before the season. They had high hopes for him. You just and Kirby Joseph is in and out of this game. So you think of like what the Lions had to deal with last year against Washington. This game had a lot like the feel of the Washington game to me, outside of like a few of the explosives going for touchdowns. Remember like the De'Ami Brown downfield play and what is it? The Terry McLaurin bubble screen for a touchdown. This game against the Chiefs felt the same way. It just it felt out schemed. It felt outworked. The Chiefs felt they could do anything in space. They could even run the ball today. I think they had over 100 rushing yards today, which was sight unseen over the last few years, even with how good they were last year. But what did you see specifically from this game in terms of either take it where you want to go with it?
No, I mean it comes back to that defense. Again, they through the first couple weeks of the season, there was a lot of good things to be excited about in this Lions defense. But you take a look at their depth chart, and it's a lot of red on that back end. Again, Terrion Arnold, Avante Maddox, DJ Reader, again, Rakestraw. When I love Rock Yassin, I like him, but when Rock Yassin is starting a game, especially against the Chiefs, you're not really in a position to keep up with that. And when you're gonna be in that game with your back end looking as well as they or as bad as they are, that offense better be clicking in all cylinders. And they were just not able to get Jahmyr Gibbs going in this game. And again, in a game in which you can't get that, run game going and everything that Jahmyr Gibbs offers you, you hope to rely on that defense. And obviously that just was not going to be a possibility for them. I think it was more of a flash in the pan with Jahmyr Gibbs. Again, still a very, very good football player. That Chiefs defense was just swarming him. He just had no space. It was it was ridiculous. And then for Josh Simmons to be out for the Chiefs for that offensive line to hold up as well as it did.
And you barely noticed.
Yeah, you barely notice. I mean, that's why you go out and you pay Jalen Moore as much as you do in free agency this year. So again, I don't think there's a whole lot of takeaways that you can have from this Lions game, from their side of everything.
Like big picture, kind of.
Big picture wise, yeah, just because of how banged up they were. And again, I don't think it's anything to be worried about in terms of Jahmyr Gibbs and everything on that end. But hey, it's good for the Chiefs to get things going on the offensive side of the football. And I had joked, I'm like, is this the game that they get their ground game going? And you're like, well, hopefully not with the back end injuries of the Lions. So,
yeah, I mean, it felt intentional the way they were trying to ball control this. Like the first drive was 10 minutes. It like you looked up and like they were running that 4th and goal play and there's 5 minutes left on the first quarter clock and I was just interested. And then they get the ball back with about like 6 minutes to go and they're up 10-6 and it feels the same way where they're just punishing inside the tackles. And sometimes you look at games and you can look back at the second quarter and find where games are won and lost. And when Amon-Ra St. Brown dropped that 4th down up 10-6, and what ensues from that is that the Chiefs go down and score. The Lions get an opportunity, like in quotations, 30 seconds with a timeout. It's not a great opportunity to score points, but if there's any team that could do it, it's the Detroit Lions. And they end up not being able to. Chiefs get the ball out of half, and they score another touchdown. So when you are realistically getting the ball back with that opportunity to make a drive down the field, you're already down 2 possessions. So yeah, I mean, sometimes you look back at these, and a play like that is where you lose a game. And also, while we're on the topic of talking best team in football, this Chiefs offense, the last 3 games, and yes, I will give you all the caveats. All right, one of those games is the 1-5 Ravens that are literally caving in on itself, especially in the back end. One of them is the Jacksonville defense, which do we still know is good? I don't know. I'm still like holding my breath on what they are as a group, and then this Lions team that similar to the Ravens, just so many injuries, but they look good. They look good, and they get Rashee Bryce back next week. He's been practicing for the last few weeks, I believe, as he gets back from that suspension. But just to mention, I mean, they're still 3-3, so there's still an uphill battle. But with some of the ways that the teams around their division look today, They got wins, but still, that division is still completely up to grabs. Let's go to the next one. I think talking about the Niners and the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers hang on. Um, what do you want me to say other than Baker Mayfield, man? I mean that guy's he's a dog, man. He's just got the dog in him. As jokingly as that is, that 3rd and 14 scramble, man. How many times has he done that in the last, since he put on a Tampa Bay uniform specifically? And then the next play, he hits Tez Johnson down the field. They lose Igbuka in this game. The Niners lose Fred Warner, which we'll talk about. Just overall, a weird game. Mac Jones slinging it. But what did you see from this side specifically, the Bucks?
No, the big thing right there, obviously, is the Baker Mayfield of it all. You had said it on the episode that had came out on Wednesday. That I think the Baker Mayfield hate watch is done. I think we're done pushing that agenda at this point
because he's so good. Because he's so good.
He's so much fun to watch. And yeah, when Mbuka leaves that game with the hamstring injury, the alarm bells go off, and you're like, well, now they're out all 3 of their top 3 wide receivers. Who's going to make plays? And Baker Mayfield said, screw it. It doesn't matter. I will make the play. And then again, I mean, Tez Johnson, we love it. We know he's fast, despite what that 40-yard dash tells us. We know he's fast. And that kind of felt like when he hit that touchdown to him, the game was going to be sealed at that point, and that's all that she wrote. So
yeah, I mean, you look at, according to Next Gen Stats, they lost Igbuka in the 3rd quarter, I believe, and so you're turning to Shepard, you're turning to Tez Johnson, and the Bucks off of that. They ran 23 out of their 50 plays on offense out of multiple tight end sets, which is the highest rate under Baker. So you just think about like pulling the strings. All right, well, if we're turning in this direction, we have no pass catcher. Well, let's just get big. And it felt like a lot of that they were running Rashad White off of that. But you just think about everything. Like your lead running back is out. Your top 3 leading receivers are out. You're still working Tristan Wirfs back. You're missing your right tackle and right guard, and they still find a way to be as explosive as can be with Baker having a .53 EPA per play. It's just continues to impress me, continues to make the case. MVP Baker is in full swing now. And then going to the other side, because the Niners were also 4-1 going into this game. It's hard to believe that they're coming off the game against the Rams. I thought their game plan was pretty similar to the Rams game, where it was a lot of like attack the middle of the field, attack these linebackers, attack Levante David because he can't move in spaces as he once could. So many of those, Romo talked about it, the bang 8 to Kendrick Bourne, which created like 3 explosives for over like 40 yards in this game. And yeah, but overall, no pressure. Mac Jones was great. Under pressure, 4 for 9, 28 yards, and both interceptions, including kind of the game sealing one with 6 minutes to go. So, yeah, I don't think there's a quarterback controversy in San Francisco.
well, our game announcers even said that. That was like a funny storyline. I don't know how many people actually caught that, but they're like, well, we talked to Mac Jones about like how well he's been playing, and Mac Jones is like, yeah, this isn't my team. This is Brock's team. But as you said it, I mean, it was, as far as the 49er side of it, we were due for Mac Jones regression back to the mean. And that's what this game was. And again, I mean, he still was slinging it. As you said, he left for almost 350 yards out of this game with the pass catching unit that he has right now, which is not very good. But he was still able to put up good numbers. And then you see the 2 INTs next to his name as well. And again, that just speaks down to their aggression back down to the mean a little bit that you see from Mac Jones in this game. So
Yeah, and both of them are just so catastrophic. One of them is on the first drive of the game that literally creates a touchdown drive, and the other one is down by 8 in striking distance. So it's like literally as big as the interceptions can possibly be. They happened. So I mean, again, and then another like shout out to Todd Bowles' defense, what he was doing in the second half, showing some simulated pressures with Mac Jones, really, you know, just going at the protection rules of the Shanahan scheme. We move on. Staying on the second half slate, talking Bengals Packers. This one, again, not much to be said. The Packers kind of wake up in the end here to pull away. Evan McPherson made a 67-yarder that didn't count. That sucked. What was it? That would have been the record, but they called a timeout, and then he tried it again and then was left short. But for the most part, the Packers just paced the Bengals to the finish line. The most intriguing part of the Packers offense continues to be just the way they're introducing Golden down the field. He continues to like if he can make just one of those deep shots a game and also have some of the gadget stuff, the end around stuff like that. He's going to be worth it for year one to me. And then you can work Watson back in because they were talking about that on the broadcast. Christian Watson kind of working his way back from the torn ACL late last year. So interesting with the Packers. But what did you see from this one?
yeah, well, as far as Golden goes, it's really the gadget stuff that has intrigued me and impressed me the most. Like his ability to make plays out in space, but then also like there was a screen pass where he just had like impeccable balance. They like hit him in his hip, he stayed going and ended up getting like 6 or 7 more yards off of it. But I was really concerned through those first 3 quarters. I joked with you, before we had hit the record button here that like, oh no, like are we going to have a serious conversation about the Packers? Because through those first 3 quarters, they looked bad. But then they woke up there in the final quarter there, putting up the 17 points. And then on the flip side of that, with the Bengals, I had joked, in our little chat during it that like, I don't know what it was halfway through like the third quarter, like something clicked in Joe Flacco's head, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I do have the best wide receiver in the NFL. Maybe I should start getting him the ball more." And then at that point, I mean, the game got a little close, and we're like, "Okay, do the Bengals have enough fight in them to keep this close?" And for the most part, they did. And then obviously that ugly defense nipped him in the butt there. So
Yeah, I didn't have much like. I thought the Packers moved the ball well. I thought they moved the
yeah,
ball fine in the first 3 quarters. I think what helps that is Cincinnati has a 17 play 10-minute drive in the third quarter to kind of cut that lead to 3, and it makes you think, oh well, they have a red zone interception to start the game, and it's off a tip ball, like it's things like that. But this game, I'll disagree. This game never really felt in doubt to me. I'll say that. But overall, the Packers pick up a win. They are 3-0 at home, which that's a stat that I'll come back to. I'll just say that. And then we get into Cincinnati. Hitting on Cincinnati really quickly. The only takeaway I had is like I'm just glad they have Flacco now because he is so much more accurate on those one-on-one throws. Just giving the guy a shot, giving Chase or Higgins, whoever it is, down the sideline a shot at the ball. Maybe not Yoshivas much anymore because he had like 3 drops in this one, especially close to the red zone. But overall, just being able to have Flacco who can kind of just lob it up there, like you said, just like, hey, go get the ball, Jamar Chase, and he did for that touchdown, which was pretty awesome against Keyshawn Nixon, who's been like really good to start the season. So that was pretty fun, but still, I can't help but it's just like there's so much limited time with these receivers and Joe Burrow, and we get another season where it's like a lost season, and there's no Joe Burrow, the defense just can't sustain itself to like, yeah, they keep the Packers under 30 in this game, but at the same time that's because they're able to have the overall success in the time management game that they did in this one. So overall, not much to take away from Cincinnati except kind of a bummer. And then we get into the last one talking about these top tier teams and who could be the best of the best before the Monday Night Football games. The Colts survive the Jacoby Brissett Cardinals, NC State Wolfpack, Jacoby Brissett. My favorite stat of this entire game is Daniel Jones under pressure in this one. 9 for 9, 93 yards, according to Next Gen Stats. And you think about Daniel Jones, he sputters under pressure. Nope. This is the new Daniel Jones. This is what he is now. He's just one of the 10 best quarterbacks in football now, apparently. I guess. Maybe, maybe not.
Well,
but
I think that says a lot about the state of quarterbacks in the NFL right now, but that's besides the point.
It's again, I mean, there's just not much to add with this Colts offense or like just overall this Colts team. They're good. They are good. I don't know if they can win the Super Bowl, but in the league of like turnover that we have right now, why not? We just saw what just a few years ago like Brock Purdy was able to make a Super Bowl in kind of his limited experience as a starter. And so again, like, can you make a Super Bowl off of the 10 guys around you on offense? Yeah, you can. We've seen it. The defense had a little bit of a rougher day in terms of the explosive category. They had their best pressure rate of the entire season in this game, 48.9%. Jacoby Brissett was just out there dealing, man. Just out there, like, saw some Zay Jones downfield targets, which was, and Marvin Harrison leaves in this game. Like, just fun game overall. Was there much you took away from it outside of Travarius Ward got concussed before the game?
What I was gonna say. What was going on pregame for the Colts?
Did you see the video?
I did see the video. He ran into like a tight end and like got like knocked out cold. That was that was ridiculous. And then like also there was like clamor that's like, oh, like Anthony Richardson, healthy scratch. But I guess like something also happened to him.
He broke his face.
Yeah. Like Colts. What are we getting into boxing matches during the like what is happening? No, but really I don't think it's something huge. I don't think it's like a big takeaway we can have because the Cardinals are absolutely not going to bench Kyler Murray for Jacoby Brissett. But this is the most fight that we've seen out of a Cardinals team all season long. And I don't think it's coincidental that it's coming on the backs of it being Jacoby Brissett instead of Kyler Murray. Again, they just have not played this kind of football with this kind of passion when Kyler Murray has been the quarterback for this team. Again, I'm not saying they should bench Kyler Murray by any means. I just don't think it's coincidental.
I'll say this. The Arizona second half drives. 10 plays, 61 yards, touchdown. 6 plays, 66 yards, touchdown. 9 plays, 34 yards, field goal. And then 10 plays, 78 yards, turnover on downs inside the low red zone, inside the 10-yard line. So they had, like, you just have that opportunity to take the lead in the final minute against a team that, like, I really, really respect and a defense that I think is really good. I think sometimes maybe it's comparable to the Colts where like they have Richardson for so long and it's like the way you have to build a Richardson offense is like gimmicky. Mm-hmm. The same way you have to do for Kyler. Like Drew Petzing was just able to like open his playbook today and was like, "Oh, I get to finally like do stuff over the middle of the field because my quarterback can see. Like this is cool. Like we could actually do some like elementary drop
Uh,
back stuff. And it felt like that was like I joke, but I'm like being legitimate. Like that's
no, yes.
and also Jacoby like pushed the ball down the field. I think
Oh,
like a quarter of his targets were like beyond 15 yards in this one. So like he was really out there dealing. So that was pretty fun. But overall, another another Colts win, 5-1. What they gonna say now? You just keep doing that game. We're gonna take a quick little break, and once we come back, we're gonna start hitting on the rest of the slate, including a thrilling Chargers win over the Dolphins. Time out. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all those things. It really helps us out. It helps push out the algorithm to so many different new fans of the channel. But I'll let you get back to the video. And we are back talking the next part of the slate. Kind of teased it ahead of the Chargers survive the Dolphins' late kind of ambush here in a very how you say Big 12 esque football game.
yes.
If like I knew you would understand what I'm saying there. Just all the crazy turnovers, all the opportunities that were just created uh, throughout this game. Darren Waller is wide open in the corner of the end zone. Justin Herbert is spinning out of like a 6-7 man pressure in the backfield to find Lad McConkey, who runs down the field to kick the game winning kick. Cameron Dicker, of course, built by Texas. Chargers survive. And then Tua goes to the press conferences and says guys are skipping players only meetings. Are we serious? I mean, what is going on in Miami? But getting back on the football field, Ben, what did you see from this one?
Well, kind of as I said with Joe Flacco, like midway realizing that like he has Jamar Chase. That's kind of how it felt with Lad McConkey and Herbert, because Quinn
Hmm.
Johnson didn't play in this game, and that's kind of been his go-to target the first couple weeks of the season, and it something in the fourth quarter clicked for him. Something midway through the third quarter happened, and Herbert was like, yeah, no, Lad McConkey actually is a good wide receiver, and maybe I should try to find him the football a little bit more often because he can make plays. And that's exactly what happened. And then that offensive line that we've spent so much time talking about through the first couple weeks of the season, it reared its ugly head again for them,
Oh,
and it's just going, oh my gosh, oh, Justin Herbert is going to fight for his life every single week. I feel so bad for him. If this team had a competent, healthy offensive line, I think they would be well within the conversation that we
yeah.
had at the start of this episode. But when you are when you are as bad as they are in the offensive line, you're just going to struggle game in, game out, even if it's a team like the Dolphins. The flip side of that, though, A-Chain, he continues to just he, that dude is good at football. That's my takeaway for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, he continues to be the one, like, he's just the one guy left in this offense because I believe Waddle went in and out again in this one.
Mm-hmm.
He had a crazy explosive where he like dropped it and then bobbled it and caught it again. That's what I'm speaking about. Big 12 football in this one. Just like overall, just the craziness, the ludicrousness of this game was pretty fun. And then you get into like nobody knew. Like everybody was like fantasy football implications. Who was going to be the starting running back? Kamani Vidal took over this game, 18 carries, 124 yards. He had a massive explosive in this one. Aronde Gadsden, Syracuse Orange, tight end from last year, someone that I scouted very limitedly. I liked. I was like, hey, maybe this guy plays. here and there. Maybe he's a spot starter. Maybe he's a third tight end here and there. He had 7 catches for 68 yards today. Fumbled the ball, but he was on the field making plays. They're just finding guys throughout to, head this passing game. And I feel like we always talk about the Greg Roman offense and being like, oh man, he just wants to ground and pound. Maybe he's just never had a quarterback like Justin Herbert, where like since he's gotten to the Chargers, especially this year, they have just been air raid city. It felt like, even with the tackles that they have in the game. But yeah, this one was a fun one, and you finish with a walk-off kick, and the better team won, and so you kind of just move on from there. Next, we get into, you kind of teased this team a little bit, talking about how good they are. Don't look now. The Seattle Seahawks beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they kind of pounded them, man. The Seattle on 50, Jacksonville dropbacks, 25 pressures. So a 50% pressure rate on that volume continues to be staggering how good this defensive line is. They're missing Julian Love. They're missing Devin Witherspoon. It doesn't matter on the back end if this front four continues to look the way that it does. And oh, by the way, JSN has almost 700 yards in 6 games this season. He's been incredible. And Seattle kind of paces Jacksonville to the finish line. But what did you see from this one?
No, that connection between JSN and Sam Darnold continues to develop. I wish I could say I wasn't shocked, because I went into the season saying, well, JSN is going to be a top 10 wide receiver. He's playing like a top.
He's
wrong.
5.
I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong about that. He's top 5 wide receiver, and if he continues to play like that, they're going to continue to win these games. Despite, I don't know what the rushing total actually was for them. I was not very impressed by how they were running the ball in this game, at least from what I had seen on paper. But it doesn't matter if you're going to be able to continue to hit these big plays down the field when you need them the most out of JSN and Sam Darnold. And the defense is just going to hold up. They're not going to be this fantastic defense that's going to have 10,000 takeaways, but this defense under McDonald is going to be good. They're going to be a bend, don't break, and they're just going to be a solid defense that you're going to have to grind it out against. And that's what they've been through the first 6 weeks of the season. And again, if they continue to do this, I think this division is theirs.
Yeah, I mean, this was another instance of like just margins. There's 3 I could point to. The 61-yard bomb to JSN was literally the first snap for Greg Newsome after the trade, by the way. That's hilarious to me.
Yes.
He ran right by him and scored that touchdown. And then out of the half, Seattle has a touchdown drive in which they kind of just march down the field. I think they had their only explosive run of the day on that drive. They have a 20-yard pass down the field to Cooper Kupp, and he finishes off with a touchdown. And then later in this game, similar to, remember the Chiefs lateral play, Travis Hunter lines up off sides on a play where Brian Thomas Jr. scores like a 50-yard touchdown off the board. And they just never looked back from that point on. There were 6 punts in the final frame alone, and then Seattle kind of paced to the finish line, in which they kicked a field goal on a 4th down. There was there was a holding, something like that. I can't remember. I kind of tuned it out once they were taking the field goal, and then I clicked back in, and there was an automatic 1st down penalty. And so Seattle kneeled it out, game over. They're 4-2, and so are the Jaguars. But Seattle also has not lost a road game. I read since week 7 of last year. How insane is that? They just continue to win these games away from home, and they have one of the best home atmospheres, I think, in football. They're literally the 12th man. So yeah, I think if Darnold continues to play like this, similar to the way that we talk about the Colts, I think there's no way we can't talk about the Seahawks at least being at the top three of the NFC, let alone the entire league. And I just also want to hit on like the Jacksonville pass offense continues to like feel like they're just it's limited. They did not have a good game running the football. Neither team really ran the football well, but just overall the passing game. Lawrence continuing to be inaccurate, continuing like he's usually good at avoiding sacks. He had 7 sacks today, so just overall that stuff continues to feel like I just want to have a game that I can point to with this Jacksonville passing game and say like there it is, it clicked, much like the Baker and Liam Cohen connection last year, but still hasn't happened yet. But we march on to another one. Let before we go to my team, let's talk about Panthers. This was what I was referring to earlier, talking about the Packers. There are 3 teams who are 3-0 at home this year. The Packers, the Colts are actually 4-0, and the Panthers who are 3-3. So literally 3-0 at home, 0-3 on the road. This is a team that I've probably quit multiple times over. And yeah, they have a game like this in which I said this to you guys in the chat. Rico Dowdle is 3rd in the league in rushing yards right now after 2 games of like almost 400 yards combined on the ground. That's not even what he did through the air today. He had like a 40-yard screen today. Just a crazy, crazy efficient Rico Dowdle 2-game stretch that we're going to remember. But yeah, I mean they're now 3-0 at home. What did you see from this one?
Yeah, I mean, Rico Dowdle was not joking when he said like these boys better come and play. I mean, he stood on business and he did exactly what he said he was going to do. It'll be interesting to see what that snap count looks like when Chuba comes back, because it's going to be as good as Chuba was playing. It's going to be hard to have Rico play as well as he had the last 2 weeks and say, no, we're not going to continue to run with him. So long-term picture, I'm really interested to see what the snap count looks like there. But also George Pickens, man, he's that guy.
Yes.
He has been so much fun to watch since CeeDee Lamb has been hurt. In this game, he was on fire, like hurdling over dudes, making plays he had no business making. It goes back to like I think it's just going to be hard for them to let him walk out of the building, regardless of the cost. We kind of know what their salary cap situation is and how Jerry sometimes can feel about playing players. It's going to be hard for the Cowboys to say, no, it's fine. We'll let him walk in free agency, especially how the last 3 weeks have been. And Dak, he continues to look good on offense. The offense for the Cowboys continues to not be the concern. But when you're letting the Panthers put 30 points on you, it's going to be rough. And it's going to be, again, I've said it a couple times with a couple different teams, it's going to be a long, long season if the defense continues to allow offenses that are as bad as the Panthers to look as well as they have against this defense.
Yeah, I mean, you just think back to before when they make the Micah Parsons trade is like we're doing this to stop the run, and then like imagine someone had to tell Jerry today, hey, you know the guy rushing on the other side of the field, like he was on this team last year, and he was rushing for 1,000 yards on like with you last year, and now he's running for almost 200 on your head in this one in a season where you traded away your best defensive player and maybe your best player overall to stop the run, and you did not stop the run. I'll just say that. And then yeah, George Pickens, I made mention of it in our chat. Like he's franchise tagged already. I'm just gonna say that he's franchise tagged at this point already. I can just speak on that now. I wonder what they do. I wonder if they drag it out. I wonder if they tag and trade him. I don't know, but he will not hit an open market with how good he is playing so far. Last thing, hitting on the Cowboys is from Next Gen Stats. The Cowboys have scored 175 plus points and are the sixth team in NFL history with only 2 wins in that span. So you think about like it's really hard to start 2-4 and have that many points in 6 games. That's averaging almost like 30 points a game. And the last 2 teams, the only 2 teams this millennium since the year 2000 to achieve that goal is Drew Brees Saints teams. So, yeah, I just wanted to shout that out. I thought that was just a funny little stat to throw in. I think it was the 2012 Saints and the 2016 Saints to just throw that out there. But that's a
Hey,
perfect
pal,
segue.
you said 2-4, 3-1. Thank you very much.
This is look at me. Look at me, already forgetting the tie. Oh my goodness. But we swing it in to the Saints this week. The Patriots 25, the Saints 19. Again, it continues to be what else? The Drake May show. And he had 2 plays like just taken away in this one too, by the way. Like he had they had a touchdown early in this game on an OPI that like Diggs is kind of blocking close to the line of scrimmage, but it
Mhm.
didn't really affect anything. It didn't affect anything. It especially didn't affect the tackling from Jonas Anchor downfield, which rough start for that guy today after some great weeks the last 2 weeks. The rookie woes. And then later in the game, he had a down the right boundary to Diggs again. It was over Quincy Riley. There was a slight push off. And when I say slight, I'm saying this as a Saints fan with a Saints flag on the wall. It was as slight as can be. As slight as can be. And they ended up calling it OPI, a great throw that just gets lost in lore forever and ever. But yeah, I mean, Drake May just continues to. All of his touchdowns were on 20-plus air yard throws. Just crazy stuff. And also, by the way, the Saints generated pressure on 18 of their 31 dropbacks, the most since 2018. And he was still that good today. So, again, it's just the Drake May thing. It's for real. It's only going up. It's just only ascending at this point. I just wonder how far this does ascend. This season at least, because again, like I can't change my. You're still doing this with Keishan Booty, a 30-year-old Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry mixed in, Austin Hooper mixed in, Pop Douglas. Like, can you imagine when they finally drop like an actual dude in there? And we just mentioned like Pickens, like but dropping Pickens in this, it would be nuts. But what did you see from the Patriots offense in this one?
No, the Drake May show again. I very vindicating to see him play as well as what he has to open up the season. And again, the fact that he's able to get these done with a ragtag group of pass catching continues to be one of the most impressive things that I have seen to start the season. I mean, people are obviously making the easy comparison to Tom Brady and all that. Pump the brakes here just a little bit. I'm not a fan of that.
He's
But
past him.
he's better. Clearly, new agenda. But on the flip side of that, though, I had told you, as we were starting the show up, that I was wrong, obviously about a lot of things as we all were, but the 2 teams I was most wrong about was, one, the Seahawks, but then 2, and it feels weird saying this because this team has only won 1 game, are the Saints. Again, they've won 1 game, so it's weird to say, well, I was wrong about the Saints because I didn't say the Saints were going to be good. But this team, week in and week out, are just tough. They're gritty, and they will make you fight for every single yard you're going to get. And Spencer Rattler's not a franchise quarterback by any means, but he's getting the job done. He is getting the job done. And again, crazy to say, wrong about a 1-win team, but they're just disciplined, gritty, tough, and they're not going to be the easy out that everyone expected them to be going into the season.
Yeah, the start of this game was really electric. They ran like a little corner blitz talking about the Patriots, and they just hit a 50-yard Olave explosive, and it was like, oh, are they going to be explosive today? No, not really.
No.
But overall, like that drive ended with a field goal. It's the one thing that holds this offense back. And Olave had some major drop issues today. Jawan Johnson fumbles in when this game is kind of in reach. He fumbles with 8:50 to go at midfield. That kind of turns the tide. And then you have the play where Keishan Booty literally just boxes out Kool-Aid McKinstry. It's just there's a ton of roles that you just think about. Like they're playing Olave as an X volume receiver. He is not that good to be that role. They're playing Kool-Aid McKinstry as this number one boundary corner. That's not what he's destined. Everybody is just destined to be knocked down a peg outside of like the tackles to me, and maybe the
Mhm.
edge rushers, because like having Chase Young wasn't like a real like showing today. Like having Young out there with Granderson was pretty good. I do like the defensive line, but again, I still want to drop one more piece in there. There's just this is still the ground level of the rebuild. I am just I said it on the show this week when we talked about this game and previewed it. It's just nice to see uh it's just nice to see a grown-up team and like you look around the league. There's a team that played in London today that they didn't look grown up with a new head coach and a bunch of like more talent, like really, more talented players. So to just have that in our back pocket so far, it'll get better. I enjoy the coach so far.
Yes. One last note too on the Saints. Saints fans, stop it. Chris Olave's fun. Enjoy Chris Olave. Quit. Why are we doing this? There's I saw way too many Saints fans that are like, trade him away. He's not good. Look at all these great OSU wide receivers, and somehow we come out with Chris Olave. As if like Chris Olave is like a bad wide receiver in the NFL. A, I think you're not giving Chris Olave enough credit, but then also B, what's your plan if you trade away Chris Olave? Like I just stop
That's
it.
yeah.
Enjoy it. Again, it's easy for me to say enjoy a 1-win football team, but enjoy it. As Matt said, they're fun to watch, despite the fact they're a 1-win football team. Take everything you see with a grain of salt. So
I
just quit it.
I want to give a shout out to I believe it was Greg Rosenthal on the NFL NFL Daily podcast. He said it best. Like if Spencer Rattler was drafted in the top 2 rounds, I think we would all believe he's a franchise quarterback. But we're just so ingrained to like the 5th round stigma of it all. He is absolutely going to get the rest of the year to me. Just
Yeah.
absolutely. There's just
Oh,
no like barring injury, there's no way I want Tyler Shuck playing football. Like it's because I think Rattler has been that good. But does that stop them from taking a guy? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It depends on how much do you like the guy at the top of the board. Do you have the number one pick to where you can make that decision where it's you're not kind of waiting for a guy to fall to you. If you're at 3 and you're waiting for a guy to fall to you, don't love that. Really don't. But it's a quarterback driven league, and if there's a difference maker, we'll see how that goes. But we're gonna get into hit on these next 4 kind of quickly, just because I don't want to spend too much time on them. But we'll start with like the most meaningful one, I guess. The Rams beat the Ravens 17-3. The Ravens bench Cooper Rush in this one. Stafford looked good overall. He was barely pressured. The Ravens ran Derrick Henry a lot in this one. He had 25 carries for 100 yards in this one. And the Ravens kind of gave it away with some of their turnovers. And they had opportunities to, and especially with 17 points by the other team, they had opportunities to win this one. But again, they aren't good right now. And starting to maybe want to take away that right now and say they're not good. But what did you see from this one?
No, I would. I'd push back, and obviously a lot of it has to do with the fact that Puka left this game with an ankle injury. We don't quite understand the severity of that, and obviously when you have a player as good as Puka leaving the game, it's going to affect your offense. But man, I thought that this offense struggled moving the ball consistently
Mm-hmm.
down the field today. And again, a lot of that has to do with the fact Puka was gone. But did not look like the Rams offense that we are used to seeing, especially when they're matching up against this bad of a defense, this defense that is as hurt as they are. It was a little concerning, especially when you consider we don't know that timetable on Puka, but we'll see. It could be a ankle sprain out for one more week, or it could be something a lot worse. And obviously, if it's something a lot worse, then we have a little bit more things to talk about there. But I don't want to speculate until we know more.
I do want to give a one shout out. Nate Wiggins was awesome on Devontae. He shadowed him a lot today. Devontae had 9 targets, 4 receptions, 39 yards. You can calculate that later once the all-22 kind of hits the surface and you can see all the routes that he traveled with him on. But Nate Wiggins was really good today. Just wanted to give that shout out before we moved on. Let's go to one of your games your game of the week. Your game of the week. The Raiders beat the Titans. Did you know Geno Smith had 1 attempt of beyond 10 air yards in this one? Crazy. So I don't know if it was Chip Kelly. I don't know if it was a him thing. I don't know if it was Tom Brady. Someone told him, "Hey, it's the Titans. Don't give them the ball. Don't throw them the ball." And he only did it once this time. He still did it today, but he only did it once. So there you go. And then you get to the other side. The Raiders defense had their most sacks and their highest pressure rate of the season. But yeah, what did you see from this one?
A whole lot of bad, obviously. I'm very glad that I did pick this for the game of the week. This is why I picked it. I said it was going to be a bad game, and I forced us to talk about it. I'm so happy we did. But I love Cam Ward, and obviously I'm not saying give up on Cam Ward because he still has his flashes, and he still has a lot of room to grow. But it's concerning when you're only putting up 10 points against the Raiders.
Yeah.
Whether you're a rookie or not, there's going to be a lot of head scratches and a lot of what are we doing? To Cam Ward's credit, I obviously think a lot of that has to do with the coaching. We've spent a lot of time talking about that and the play calling. Absolutely hated the play calling, especially the way they opened up the game. It was like 2 swing passes, like back to back to back, and they were just not allowing Cam to push the ball down the field at all. So a lot of that can obviously stem from play calling and coaching, but my antenna is up just a little bit on Cam Ward just because it has looked so bad on offense for them.
Yeah, I'm just stunned by it, just how outmanned they feel.
Yeah.
And they continue to have the struggles along the offensive line, but just overall, you just think about it, he took 6 sacks for 62 yards in this one and 2 fumbles lost. Just a wild game. They scored their touchdown in the final 5 minutes. I was watching for an IU Manor touchdown. But just overall, yeah, I'm with you where I'm I want to just I'll be patient with you, man. It's week 6, but I want to see some improvement. I want to see something where I can be you do look meaningfully different from week 1, and I can't say that right now. And I was hoping this would be a game that you could really look at and say, yeah, he looked demonstrably better, but overall didn't.
Did you see the Geno quote today, by the way? That was just, really? He had said something about how he had talked to one of the coaches about how he needs to jump into a lake or an ocean to wash off all of the bad luck because he feels like he has had bad luck as a quarterback for the Raiders. No, buddy, you're just bad. There's nothing to do about the
I
luck
mean,
there. You're
it's
just
it's it's the
bad.
position. You gotta lean into the. You gotta lean
Yeah.
it. You keep being overly confident. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
I just thought it was funny.
Next we get into because we're saving this one for last, man. I'm saving it for last. Uh, we're gonna get into another rookie quarterback. The Steelers beat the Browns 23-9. This was a red zone game, man, for me at least.
Hmm.
I was not looking too much on this. I was not overly uh thrilled. I don't want to say thrilled, but like enthused, I guess, with Gabriel in week one or his first week, not week one, and then he kind of has a similar game today. His 58 dropbacks and 220 yards total. What is that? What is that? They take 3 field goals in this one. It never feels close. And then you go to the other side with Steelers, like it's still the Rodgers offense. Like it's still a lot of quick game. It's still a lot of like 5 or low average depth of target. He hit the downfield like 20-yard pass to DK Metcalf in this one. So yeah, but they continue to just be the only team in this division with their head on their shoulders. So I applaud them for that. That is what again. I hate to keep doing this like backhanded compliment thing with the Steelers, but I don't know how to assess them. I really don't. I don't think they're great. I don't think they're good. They've done this to us before where they go on like a 6 game win streak. They did it last year with Russ. What were they like? They were like 6-2, something like that last year
Yeah.
after a Commanders win. I don't know. Do you see anything from this one, or were you kind of in the same boat as me?
Yeah, same exact boat. Talking about the Browns and their quarterback situation, is this like not who we thought Dylan Gabriel was going to be? Like, this is exactly who we thought he was going to be when we had scouted him and talked about him going into the draft. And again, this is the word that I used to describe him, and it's a funny way to put it, but I think it's the perfect way to put it. He's just enthusiastically unimpressive. And I mean that in the best way and the worst way possible. He doesn't do anything like awful. I don't come away from his game saying like, "Oh my gosh, that was foul. How could you do that?" But then there's the other side of the coin where I'm just like, "Well, you're not really doing anything fantastic or great either. You're just kind of there."
You're
But
just there.
you're just there, and that's who we thought he was gonna be. So I don't know where Brown's expectations are with him, um, and we really try our best to not talk about him. But I wonder how much longer until they're just like, "Hey, shooter, get in there. Let's see what you got."
Yeah, I mean it's. I think it's bound to happen. But overall, like I don't think it's going to be much better. If anything, I think it's going to be
No,
worse because you're trying to
yeah,
run around too. Where Gabriel's at least going to be like, I'll just throw it 5 yards every time if you want me to. Like that's fine with me. But I think I'm gonna go back and watch this one just for the Browns defensive line. I've had fun
hmm,
watching them this year,
oh yeah,
but overall, like it's again they're on the ground level of this thing, which not the ground level, but they're just like if you drop in a good quarterback in this situation, do you think they succeed? That kind of just came
uh,
to me.
I think they're better than. I think they are better than obviously what we see. Like if you drop in like a Matt Stafford, let's say, you drop Matt Stafford in there, I think they probably would have had a. They probably would have won this game. I don't think they would have been great because I still think they're missing a lot of those high end pieces,
Yeah,
specifically on the offensive side of the football. But I definitely think they'd be better.
I don't want to feel like all of this is just crapping on the Browns because like I feel like they've had a fun season, much like the Saints, where like the defensive line is really really fun. The rookies are like good. Like Schlesinger is a good player already. Fannin,
Yes.
like whatever I had like my doubts with him, like he's going to be a productive NFL player. And then Judkins had his worst year as like a starter in this one, but that's also because they just didn't have, the opportunity to really get him involved, I believe. But just overall, I don't know where to sit on Cleveland. I don't know where to sit on them. I guess just let's see how the Gabriel show goes for the season. But
Mm-hmm.
let's get into what I don't know, man. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Broncos 13, Jets 11. Similar to a few weeks ago, you heard the stat everywhere, didn't you? The Jalen Hurts didn't complete a second half pass. We're going to hear the negative passing yards in a full NFL football game for a while. The Jets accomplished that today. Justin Fields had as many completions as he did sacks in this one. He was not accurate. He was not on time. Someone said on Twitter he has the internal clock of a sundial. Couldn't agree more. Aaron Glenn at halftime, 2-minute drive, decides to just punt on 40 seconds. Okay. Like, I don't know, man. I get it. You didn't hire Aaron Glenn because he's a defensive guru like Mike McDonald or something like that. You hired him because he is the most similar candidate you could possibly get to Dan Campbell. And you are setting a new culture. Let's build this from the ground floor. We got to re-sign Sauce. We got to re-sign Garrett Wilson. We'll kind of patchwork, this quarterback. We'll draft the trenches. We'll do all these things. But for it to look this miserable, and again have a game where, very quickly into this game, they had a procedural penalty, which continues to be the talk of the town with this team. They only had 2 total penalties in this game, by the way. So, there's a step in the right direction. But they had 1.4 yards per play. For reference, going into this week, the Tennessee Titans were the last in that category with 4.0. Literally 2 times worse, more than 2 times worse, were the New York Jets today. I don't know. Watching them play football, they're the only winless team. They looked like it today, and they were winning going into the fourth quarter. All of those things I just said, they were beating a team that was in the playoffs last year. This is the worst game of football since the last time these 2 teams played. I told you, sent that into the chat. Just an incredible, can't look away train wreck was this football game. And when Justin Fields got the ball, down by 2, when they punted him the football and there was limited timeouts, and it's all right, you got to go 20 yards and you guys can kick a field goal to win the game. There's no shot. There's no shot.
No.
And it didn't. Even that out route to Wilson is just so badly thrown up field that it just ruins everything. I get it. He is the quarterback that gets you to the next one. But damn it, for Jets fans, I thought this was going to be... Why did they even give us week 1? All right? I was excited for this team. I was excited for what they could be after week 1. And now 5 weeks in, 6 weeks in, 5 weeks after that one, it just looks completely over. If you can't tell, this is some of the most angry I've been watching a football game in a while.
No, absolutely. And I say this, and I'll get into Justin Fields in a second. And I'll clearly make my opinion known. I obviously do not think Justin Fields, I obviously think Justin Fields is not a good NFL quarterback. That all being said, it doesn't help when the offensive line looks as bad as the offensive line looks. They got 9 sacks on them today. I don't care who the quarterback is. They're going to look bad. That being said, we're 5 years in on Justin Fields. This is who he is. Can we give it up? I understand he's exciting to watch on the ground. But, man, he cannot throw the football. He is very, very bad.
You know what I think you should do? Maybe this is harsh. Maybe this is mean. But maybe take the same route as an old Ohio State quarterback, Terrell Pryor.
Yes.
Let's switch it. Let's switch this over. Because like they said it on the broadcast, he like is a top 5 athlete in the entire sport. And I'm like,
Yes.
you know what? Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. And they just continue to. I just don't think. I don't think he has the mental capability to play quarterback at this level.
No.
And this was a defense designed to just expose it. Shout out Nick Benito. Shout out Nick Benito, by the way.
Yeah.
He is. I want to say he got multiple sacks in this one. No, he only had one, but he had 7 going into it. He was leading the league going into it. He signed a contract right before the season. That might be a bargain at the end of this season. How good he's been, but yeah, I wanted to give a little Denver shout out. The offense was not great. The offense, it is what it is. Bo Nix had over 100 passing yards in the first quarter. He finished with 174. So there you go. Just the middle parts of this game were just miserable, man. But for the Broncos, they win the football game. There you go. And the New York Jets get closer and closer to the next guy that is going to be under center. But overall, it might be, dude. It might be. He was really, really good. The way he rallied after that pick six was just awesome. But that's it for the Week 6 recap show. Anything left to add on the Sunday recap show?
No, nothing else to add. Fun early slate, by the way. Like every game was within like one. Most games was within one score outside of your Ravens Rams game. But that early slate of games was fantastic. And then really the only other thing I have to say in terms of professional football, man, I'm just glad that the Eagles played on Thursday, so I didn't have to talk about them here.
Yeah, you're gonna be seeing Jackson Dart in your nightmares. Something about those island games, man. Like he's like 3 times better than he would have been if that game was at noon. That's just how those games work, man. That's just how those games work. Yeah, I make sure if you're on the YouTube, stay tuned. We're about to record something about the Penn State head coach, and make sure to always join us. Gonna start this week. Tuesday is going to start being our college football show, exclusive college football, and then Wednesday kind of being your NFL preview and things like that. But if you enjoyed this type of content, you'll enjoy that stuff. So 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central on those dates, always on this platform. So thank you. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and like. But that is all for the recap this week. Thank you for watching.